Hey, welcome back to Comics Unchained. I'm your host, Sergio Sanchez, and joining me from now on this day forward is going to be my best friend, my guru, so to speak, and we'll get into that later on. Chris Eaton over from doing his own thing. But Chris, it's
My own thing is called the Kaiju Kingdom podcast,
yeah,
sir.
I
That's what
wanted
it's
you to
called.
give your own shout out. I don't want to have to do
Oh yeah,
anything.
yeah, no, yeah. You're. Well, I do it too. It's like give the plug, give the plug.
Yeah, get the plug. So we've taken a bit of a break. Me and Chris kind of had a little brainstorm, got together, and we decided we wanted to bring back the show, talking about what's going on in comic books, what's new, what's fresh off the rack, what's what you possibly should be going in and spending your money on, considering what comic books are. What are they now? $5-6 a pop.
Something like that. Yeah,
Just
they're
about,
not.
yeah, nowadays. So if you want to spend that money, we kind of got you covered. But we're here today. We're going to do a bit of a special episode as it's our comeback episode. Me and Chris are going to be taking over the hosting duties for the show for the foreseeable future. We're going to talk about our favorite moments for Batman, the animated series, following the legacy of rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, who passed away Friday.
Friday morning. So this is Sunday morning as recording it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I was driving and I made a stop and I opened up my Facebook and someone's like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "That no." And then I went and checked Twitter, and Susan Eisenberg had posted. She's like, "Unfortunately, it's true." I'm just like,
Yeah. So I had seen it. I know I said the same thing. I saw it because I saw your Facebook. I was browsing through my phone at work, and I was on your, and I was like, "Oh my God, no, this isn't true." And then you posted 3 more times, and then of course I know most of the stuff. If it's something like that and you're posting it, you've already fact checked it. I didn't have to, and I was just devastated. And I shut down for like a few minutes at work, and everybody's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Dude, that's like my childhood."
Look, there's only been a handful of what I would call celebrity deaths that I'm like, I need to take a break for a minute. Like this is too much. For me, it was Robin Williams. When Robin Williams died,
Okay.
like I was at work and I saw that and I was just like, no, he can't be dead. Like he's Robin Williams.
Yeah.
No, that was the day the laughter died for me. I was like, it was that. And the one that Robin Williams hit me hard, and the other one that hit me hard was Harold Ramis. Because Harold
Ramis did hit you pretty hard. I remember that.
Again, like you know me, you know how much I love Ghostbusters, how much it is part of my goddamn DNA. Egon was my favorite growing up, and he died on my 30th goddamn birthday. Like it was literally like the universe saying, "Guess what? Your childhood's done." And your heroes are now dying.
Dude,
so it's
don't
like,
say it like that.
Oh God, I woke up. It's like my 30th birthday. First thing I opened, Harold Ramis has died. I'm like, it's just, you hear Johnny Cash's hurt in your head and you're just like, oh my God damn it.
Yeah.
So believe me, we're coming into the year anniversary of Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I'm not ashamed to say
it's already been a year.
It's coming up, this week. Yeah, it's a year. Yeah, and I remember sitting there with my brother watching. We went like the first show like on that Friday morning, and there was only like 8 other people in there because it was like 10:30 in the morning. But I told him,
I love those kind of shows though. Those are always the best ones to go to because there's like no one in there. You don't have to worry about being loud, or you can kind of stretch out.
Yeah, or doing other things. My brother doesn't really go to the movies, but he's like, this is Ghostbusters, and he's like, if I think what's going to happen is going to happen, and we got to go. I'm like, yeah, and I turned to him like, don't judge me if I get a little emotional. I got a little emotional. Like I held it in. I kept stoic, but like afterwards, I'm just like,
yeah.
It was like the little anime eyes with the little tears in it. Yeah, actually, you want to know? You want to know? Maybe sadder, or you want brought like tears. Like emotional tears of joy was that post-credit scene at the very very, very end when Janine's sitting with Winston.
Oh, yeah. And they're talking
that
about
scene, that like more than Ghost Egon.
He's bringing it back.
It was what it was. It was this. So Ghost Egon, like I kind of knew he was coming. It was implied in there, and I talked to someone who saw it because they were screening that movie left and right, but no one spoiled Ghost Egon. But everyone was like, "Is he showing up? Is he coming?" We kind of assumed like he was going to be there. What got me at the end, and again, I'm getting a little emotional even talking about it, was that post-credit scene of Janine and Winston. And Winston was the guy that made it. He was always the Ghostbuster. He was not the scientist. He was the guy on the street. He was the guy that for years, he was the freaking Ernie Hudson kept that flag flying for years. And to
he's seen shit that'll make you turn white.
Yes.
So
and him talking with Janine, him having like giving Winston like he was running like a Fortune 500 company, and the fact that like he's going to be the one to shepherd the new generation. I sat there. I'm like, I gotta go sit down. This is it was vindication, if you will.
So moving on from that.
Yes.
Right, back to
Kevin Conroy.
I could sit here and talk.
I know. No, we try not to digress too much.
Both of us can, right?
Because it was sad. Believe me, Conroy.
It was a sad day. I'm sitting here. I just recently. I'm like, okay, so I have nothing to watch. I mean, I don't want to watch American Dad or Family Guy for the umpteenth hundred time. So I'm like, every now and again, I go back down the rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, HBO Max, and I had been watching some stuff, and I was like, okay, so Justice League's on there. I was like, let's go down that rabbit hole again. And I just started watching Justice League. I think I'm barely on like the episode where they introduced Etrigan.
Oh, so is it still the first season where they did
the two-parters and the three-parters?
Yeah.
It's that season.
Okay.
And I get to that episode. I hit, pause. I go to work, and then that news breaks. And so like it's devastating for me on a different point because like I'm like, oh my god, like you hear Kevin Conroy's Batman, you're just like. There will never be anybody that can outdo this dude, and you're just talking so highly of him. And then, Friday morning, and I was just fucking devastated, man. Because
believe me,
I was sad, dude.
It is well. He's.
I didn't even know he was that sick.
Well, look, I saw some for a couple of years he's been looking a little gaunt.
Well, you've met him a handful of times, and we can we'll talk about that, but yeah, like I didn't know that, and I don't know if they're keeping it under wraps.
I saw because he was still working. He was still recording. Yeah. He was still doing like Skype appearances. There's a great story about him. Not too long ago. Some kid this professor or this not professor. I think it was like a teacher at like some school like in Illinois or something like that. And he has Kevin, like he knew Kevin, and he called. Kevin would come in on Skype once a month to talk to like his class because they were teaching. Because Kevin, Conroy is like a Juilliard trained actor. Like he is a legit. He's
got a hell of a voice.
He's a goddamn legit actor. Like he knows the craft in and out. And the teacher had like an associate, like a friend of a friend, whose kid was he was fighting cancer, and the kid loves Batman more than anything else. Dresses up as Batman, does the whole thing. Yeah. And I was reading the story, and the teacher knew, and he's like, hey, after they were done with the class, so like, look, hey man, like I know you're busy and everything, but there's this kid, he's sick. He's going through chemo right now. He loves Batman. He loves Batman, the animated series. Could you just would you send a message or something? He's like, just give me the information. Send me the information. He called the parents. The parents put him on the phone, and in Batman, he talked to the kid for like an hour, and you're just like, you son of a bitch.
Oh, dude. I mean, we're gonna get into more stuff like that, like as we cover. We kind of went over a little bit of things we'll talk about today. We're going to talk about his impact on our childhood. We're going to talk about the animated series. We're going to talk about Justice League. We're going to talk about some of the movies. And I believe it was you who told me, pick a few. We're going to pick some of our favorite scenes from his portrayal as the Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Who, I mean, and you've got to agree with this, and I think everybody on the internet does, right, dude? Is he's hands down Batman. You can put anybody in the costume, but Kevin Conroy's Batman.
He is the definitive Batman. As I quote the great Bret Hart, he's the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And there's no one that, like, look, for a lot of people like older than us, like generations, like they're gonna 20, 30 years, it's Adam West. For some people, it's Michael Keaton. You and I are the Keaton generation. Yeah, look, I actually, there's really been no Batman. Like even George Clooney.
Yeah.
That movie's legitimately bad, but he's not a bad Batman. Like he's not the problem with that movie.
No, I've always been like we've gotten into back and forth of this, right, as well. That we've always said that there are people who play Batman and people who play a great Bruce Wayne. For example, Val Kilmer killed it as Bruce Wayne.
Fantastic.
I didn't like him as Batman.
So Batman. Yeah.
So Batman, yeah. But killed it as Bruce Wayne. I think I'm one of the very few. I don't know how you feel. I didn't like Clooney. Didn't care for it. Took it or
I thought Clooney was a fine Batman. And he was a fine Bruce. Again, the problems with those movies. That movie is many of it. Keaton's great. Keaton's a better.
Keaton is a great Batman.
Yes,
hands down, great Batman.
Yeah.
So Bruce Wayne.
So Bruce. Yeah. I thought Ben. Ben balanced it pretty well. Yeah. I thought Ben balanced it well. And honestly, like Pattinson, I love that Batman movie. It's long.
It's long.
It's long.
When I sat down and watched it, I didn't realize what time it was. Me and my friend watched it, and we're sitting there like, "Oh, this was a good movie. This was okay." And then we look at the time, and we're like, "Did it take that long to get going?"
That movie is one whole graphic novel told from beginning to end. That's how I look at that movie. Look, I liked that Batman movie a lot. It gave me what I wanted. A Batman movie. It's Batman. Like there's very little Bruce Wayne in this movie. But no, it was great.
There are going to be tons of puns from us from.
There was a great meme that I found that I posted. I think you saw it was the Ron Swanson one.
Yes, I did.
Did you see that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I walked in, saw the flag at half mast. I was like, great, another bureaucrat died. I found out it was Kevin Conroy. Half mast is too low. Show some damn respect.
Yeah.
But but I think I know where you're going. You know why? It's this. And this is why I love voice actors and why people kind of don't give them their just due, and where
no, not at all.
And believe me, where I don't agree, where these newer policies of like, well, you have to be the race, the character. I'm like, no, that's the beauty about a voice actor. It's pure acting. You're inhabiting. You can inhabit any character.
Chris, pure West.
Yes.
All right.
So for you and I, yes,
Kevin Conroy. I thought he was the man. He was the man for me. That's how I see it.
I think he's the man for everyone. Anyone with any sense of taste.
And I am really like surprised because like over the internet, following like the Facebook pages I do and seeing everybody talking about him on Twitter, that really seems to be the general consensus now. I mean, like I'm not discrediting anybody that's donned the mask on screen, on the silver screen. I'm not taking that away from anybody. But I think even those people are like, he was the man. He was Batman. For most of them, I mean, like that's where I would have if I was younger. Let's say like Pattinson probably, like that was who would have inspired.
But there's a difference. Here's the thing, and this is why he's the Batman for everybody. And this is again, I'm relaying a story that Kevin Smith told about Robin Williams, the late great Robin Williams, because they were working on Kevin was a producer on Good Will Hunting, And this is where I can't believe it's coming around.
Okay.
So they were on set. They were walking out of a convenience store because they were in between takes, and he was talking with Robin. And they filmed the whole movie in Boston. I think they filmed it up there. And someone walked out. So this is, that movie came out, 97? So they're filming like in 96. And someone walks out. They see Robin. They're like, Mork! And Kevin turns to Robin. He's like, dude, Mork and Mindy's like 25 years old at this point. Like, and they're still calling you Mork. And he turns to him. He's like, look, this is the thing. Movies are something... they're kind of a luxury for some people. Like, you have to go to the movie. You have to get up and go. TV is in your home. And when you're on a show that lasts, even 4 or 5 years, you're in their home every week. And he's like, that's what you will be known as for many people for years. And that's why Kevin, for many people, will always be Batman, because let's be honest here. That it's the animated series is not just one of the best like cartoons ever made. It's hands down one of the best like TV shows ever made. That show, the quality on that show is insane, even by today's standards.
Oh yeah.
I know people people talk about anime, people talk about Avatar. None of that happens without Batman. That show had an insane budget, and it had writers and directors that legitimately gave a shit about the characters. This was not like back in the 80s where they're like, hey, you're working on Paul Dini's working on He-Man, just conjure some shit up. Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, Alan Burnett, all these guys loved DC Comics, and they loved Batman, and they knew the lore inside and out. And what that show did was took 50 years of comic book storylines at that point, boiled it down to its bare essentials, and updated it for modern times. Mr. Freeze was a goofy character until Heart of Ice. And you're like, oh my God, like this is man, there's such weight to him now.
Yeah, it was really good. So let's segue that into picking out some of our favorite scenes from either the animated series and going forth there and honoring some of like probably one of the best pieces of work that he did on those shows. And we'll talk about like a little bit of the episodes. We don't want to run too long. This is our restarting of our coming back in the season, getting back into this way of things. So if we run a little over, we do apologize. But for me, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, you're the host.
And for me, I think it was all the episodes he did really great. But for me, it's when they put Kevin Conroy and Adam West in the same episode with the Gray Gunman or the Gray Ghost.
Gray Ghost, yes.
Gray Ghost. And for me, that is the little tidbit at the end of that episode. And if you guys have HBO Max, please go watch this episode. This is one of my picks. And it's just at the very end, Bruce Wayne, he was like, the Gray Ghost was my hero when I was growing up. And he's like, oh, you don't say, because earlier in the film, it was something Batman had said to the Gray Ghost. So it's him putting, Adam West's character putting it together. And he just goes, is that a fact? And then as Bruce is walking away, he goes, and he still is. And it's just the meeting of both of them. The episode is just so good. And then,
you know why that episode's so, you wonder why the core of why that episode is so great. It's because, so not only is it,
I got teary-eyed.
Yeah. Not only is that episode great because everyone loves, there's no one that doesn't love Adam West. Adam West was he was the Batman for a while, and he's fantastic. I'm so happy that Batman has been embraced in the later years, and I'm glad he got to see that too. But the thing is, it's twofold. One, it's everybody that worked on that show. They're like, we want to work with Adam because we love Adam. So that's them. That's their love letter to Adam. But at the same time, for Bruce as a character, the Gray Ghost represents like the last vestige of the good part of his childhood. Like that is the one last key to like the innocence that he had before his parents were murdered. Like the flashbacks of him watching the Gray Ghost with his dad and laying there and he's picking up. It's like those are the memories. That's why again when Conroy's that's why Conroy's a genius. Like he emotes that.
Yeah.
And he said because again his voices are different. He's got the Bruce voice when he's being Bruce. Right. When there's three voices. There's public persona Bruce when he's Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy. There's Batman, so we all know that. But then there's the real Bruce. There's the kind-hearted, the actual person that's the human being Bruce. And that moment is that is him going like, you're my hero. Like you're the one thing that keeps me, like those memories keep me from going way over and becoming, some sort of Punisher-esque character. Like that is literally, and you hear Conroy's like, he understood the assignment. He's like, no, this is Bruce legitimately being happy for one of the few moments in his adult life, meeting his hero. And that's why, that's why that episode is so goddamn awesome.
So that's one of my first picks. Chris, what is one of yours? And you can pick between any of them. You can even go with the movies if you want to go that route.
Oh, well, for me, okay, so I got three. So I'm kind of going backwards to forward. So for me, the first one I got is my absolute favorite episode, which is I'm blanking on the name at the moment, but it's actually the Robin. It's in season 4. It's the Tim Drake, the Robin centric episode where he meets the girl that shockingly looks like Natalie Portman from The Professional, and she's being chased by her dad. And it turns out to be Clayface, and she's a Clayface clone. She doesn't realize that she is. And after once Batman gets in on the case, finds out what's going on, and he fights Clayface, and Tim cannot save her from Clayface reabsorbing her. And there's that moment where they're taking Clayface away, and Tim is just like crestfallen. He's like, sometimes it's him consoling Tim as well as he could, realizing he's like, sometimes you don't win in life. Like it's that line he's giving to Tim at the end. It's him being a dad to Tim, and at the same time, like he's like realizing like you've learned a lesson. This is the lesson of being this is because it's one of Tim's like first outings as Robin. And he's like, this is what comes with the job, and this is what you can't save everybody. And this, you have to rectify that. I love that episode to death. Like I got to meet Alan Burnett. I told him that and he was just like, oh, thank you. A little proud of that one. I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic writing. Okay,
and so let's move on to your next one.
Mm-hmm. My next one, of course, is it's the classic one. It's the one everyone loves when it's the Scarecrow episode when he's I think it's the first time he fights Scarecrow, and Scarecrow is completely doused him with his fear toxin, and he's seen the horrible spirit of his father, and he's like questioning himself, and he's up there on top of that pylon on top of the as he's fighting Scarecrow, and he sees the fear toxins kicking, and he sees his dad turn into this horrible inhumanoid looking monster, and he's like, you've been a failure. He's like, and telling him, he's like, no. And it's the classic delivery. He's like, no, I am not any of that. He's like, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman line. Mm-hmm. Like that right there is the moment. Like they've used that sequence so many times because my God, he just hammers down on that line so hard. And you're like, fuck yeah, you are Batman. God damn it, you are Batman. That is, and that sealed the deal on that show. Like that was used in every freaking promo going forward for like the next 5 years because that was that good. It was that good. Yep.
And then what's your last one? I'll give you one more here.
My last one is actually from Flashpoint, the movie. It's that end moment when Barry delivers the letter to Bruce from his dad. Wow. And he tells, look, say what you will about Jeff Johns. I know he's kind of a pariah today, but that when I read that ending of Flash, like I knew that was coming. Like I'm like, you're doing Flashpoint, so you have to do that scene. That scene is now iconic because again, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
It was awesome.
But when he tells him, he's like, Barry, you're one hell of a messenger. You're just like, God damn it. Again, Bruce knows how to just land every line, every goddamn line. That one was, again, like sitting there at Comic-Con watching that was that was a nice. Again, I turned to our mutual friend George, and he looks at me. He's like, "This is possibly hands down one of the best like movies I've ever, like one of the best anime movies that they've ever done." But like just in terms of like a comic book movie, this is like top tier. Like it's absolutely. I've loved Flashpoint. So or Flashpoint Paradox.
Flashpoint was a very great movie. I did enjoy it a lot. I'm gonna steal one here. One of my favorite. And this is going to be from Batman Beyond. There's a scene where it's the episode with Shriek, and he gets inside Bruce's head, making him do crazy shit.
I know where you're going.
And so at the end of the episode, right, Terry goes to get Bruce out of the hospital, and he's like, I never believed once I was crazy. And he goes, why is that? And he's like, because the voice in my head kept calling me Bruce. I don't call myself that. And he goes, oh, and he's like, Terry leans in, he's like, but that's my name now. And then just Bruce gives him like that fucking that killer smile, like whatever, believe what you want. But I think Old Man Bruce, dude, we have to talk a little bit about that. Because let's go. Dude, let's just one more key feature is just the brutality of Old Man Bruce. I mean, from the first episode in Batman Beyond to breaking his bonds and picking up the gun because he's having the heart attack, to cut forward into, and I'm going to jump into Justice League here,
that epilogue
cut into the episode. The epilogue episode is great. We will get there.
The time travel one,
the Chronos one, where Batman is like meets old Batman, or like Bruce, you know what I mean,
modern Bruce meets future Bruce,
and they're hanging out with Terry, and he's like, I can't so Batman grabs the Joker goon, and he's like, I'm not going to talk. You can't get me to talk. And he's like, holds him over the edge, and he's like, what, you going to drop me? And then Batman's like, damn it, like, I can't get to this guy. And he throws him away. And then Old Man Bruce is like, I can't believe I was ever that soft. And
I was ever that green. I can't believe I was ever that green. Yeah.
And he starts beating the crap out of this dude.
Yes.
And then it's so fucking great, dude. Like, hands down, a great episode, again, just showing that range, because he's playing two different versions of himself in that episode too, if you think about it. Like, he's getting to bring back old Bruce from the canceled Batman Beyond series, and he's still portraying Batman now in the Justice League. Like, it's hands down a great episode if you get a chance. Then you get like the Wild West Bruce.
Again, my God, though, we could talk about how good those shows are for hours and hours. Let's not forget, again, our mutual friend George loves a particular thing. I completely forgot I went back and watched this clip, and I completely forgot the Batman musical, and I forgot the whole damn thing. Like, I'm like, oh shit, that is him singing it. Like, he's going on and singing again. Like, he's classically trained. He knows musical theater too, and he's singing about how all villains are superstitious, cowardly. That whole thing is absolute gold. It's 24 karat goddamn gold.
It was amazing, and it just shows the range that he had. And it's just such a tragedy that he's gone. I mean, we can't expect people to be around forever, and he's definitely left his legacy.
I know but he's like only 60, and the fact that he was only 66, he was still working. He was working up, as far as I read, he's working up until he died. I think there's like a couple more things that like he recorded that'll probably, I think, are coming out. I hope. But the fact that they kept going back, like, even everyone knew, like, the reboot, like, timeline that they created with like the loose universe, like, later on, that I forgot the gentleman's name. I've been hearing a million times too. As Batman, I'm like, he's fine. Bruce Greenwood, he took over as Batman for a while. He was Batman in Under the Red Hood and Young Justice. Like, he's good. Like, Bruce Greenwood's great, but it always goes back to Kevin.
I get you, because there's totally times where I've been watching like some of the animated films that had came out, and it's just not the same when it's not Conroy. It's like
it's not the same. And I feel bad for all those actors, because they also know.
It's not a knock against them. It's just to me, he was Batman. He was my childhood. That was my guy, man. So it hit hard. Friday was a rough day for me, and then it's just going, like, shout outs to everybody who paid their homage to him. I mean, on my personal Facebook account, I changed mine to the bat symbol from the animated series.
Everyone. Look, there's a saying that you really know you really don't know what your impact in life is until you die. So unfortunately, you'll never know it, but the rest of the world will. I talked about this. Not to be a little personal, but my own grandfather's funeral when he died a few years back. Huge turnout. Yeah. So that when you have a huge turnout, like, you've made an impact in life. The fact that the entire internet stopped, they're like, Conroy died. Like, no, this is not. We need to take a moment here. Everybody. They're like, again, my Facebook feed was completely filled with Twitter. Instagram, everybody was posting, like, people posting all of their Batman animated series, like, memorabilia. Like, I got friends that own cells. They're just like, you'll never get better. You'll never get better than this, man, because this show left such a goddamn impact on everybody.
It did.
Because again,
when did it come out, Chris? Our child. Let me see here. Batman.
This year was the 30th anniversary.
30th anniversary, right?
30th anniversary was, I think, a couple months ago, actually. Yeah. It was 92.
1992. Yeah, September 5th, 1992. Jesus.
So I'm glad he got to see the 30th. That's, again, like, that's a long time, 30 years. Yeah. And that show holds up insanely well to this day. Like, it is. Like, you go back and you watch and you're like, God damn, like, it makes you appreciate as an adult what you were given, because a lot of shows, I mean, look, I've said, many times, like, the quality of many things have gone down, but that show, like, they had a budget, they had, and they had people that gave a crap, like, from the writers to the Andrea Romano, the voice director, like, she made sure, she was integral to casting Conroy. I believe she knew Conroy, and she's like, look, I know this guy. Let me have him come in, and he was it. Like, they're like, no, there's no one else. That's it.
And if you look at, like, her track record, I mean, that her track record speaks for itself. She's another one who is made or break all those shows. Batman, Superman, Justice League, Teen Titans. I mean, the list goes on for what she did there too. So we can't forget, like, I mean, there are tons of the shows. I really do suggest you guys go out there and check out some of his work, all of his work, if you can. I mean, everything you're going to watch is great.
But maybe look, I mean, because he did other stuff, but the best thing outside of Batman that he did, there was a great episode of Venture Brothers where he played Captain Sunshine. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's also on HBO Max if you want to watch it. And you should be watching Venture Brothers anyway, because it's again, I put it up there with, in quality of writing, it's up there with Batman. That's an amazing show, and I think it was season 4. It was because they were dealing with the fallout of the Monarch killing Captain Sunshine's young ward. And you find out Captain Sunshine, he's a beloved superhero, but he's got a dark underbelly to him. Like, it's real seedy. And Conroy plays it to a T. And my God, he's freaking fantastic in it.
So with that, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up. I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to tell you guys right now, go check out, if you want, watch the entire Batman animated series. It's on HBO Max.
Watch Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm, great. I remember watching that as a kid. It was amazing when it first came out.
Theaters.
You saw it in theater? I didn't get a chance to see it. I had the VHS, the big, when they're back in those big bulky VHSs.
I saw it New Year's Eve. My dad took my brother and I to go watch because we had to kill time. He's like, let's go watch this.
I could totally see your dad doing that too.
My dad even loved that show. My dad loved that show. Like adults were watching that show at the time. I don't think people understand at the time how big it was.
And let's not forget that if it wasn't for that show being as great as it was, we wouldn't have got X-Men. We wouldn't have got Spider-Man.
No,
we wouldn't have got Superman, Gargoyles. All those shows are based off
Justice League.
That animated show pushed what an animated show could do. At least in my eyes, it did, and it still holds water today. Go see it for yourself. There's a handful of episodes me and Chris kind of listed out here. If you're going into the Justice League verse, I will say, take the trip down memory lane and try not to cry on the scene when Ace dies.
When he talks to Ace. Yeah,
that's great episode. I just got to that as well, and goddamn that.
Yeah, Justice League Unlimited.
Not the time to see that this week.
Yeah, but Justice League Unlimited is magnificent.
So go see that. There's a lot of great episodes in there. All of his work is great. Check it out. Do the man an honor. And so we wanted to bring back the show. Next week we'll be talking about comic books, of course. And this is kind of our tribute show to the late Kevin Conroy. So Chris, anything you want to add?
When
we come back next week?
The man was a once in a generation talent. And, I quoted earlier, I'll quote again. He was the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. He is the goddamn Batman. So, it's a bitter day, but you know what? That is life. But you know what? He left behind a body of work that will, that is his path to immortality. He will be remembered for generations because it's Batman. Batman's never going to go anywhere. Batman will be with us until the sun dies.
That's right.
He will be with us, and he will probably go with us wherever humanity goes. And Kevin will continue down that path. That show is archived, so so many. It's been kept so well that unless the universe folds in on itself, it'll be watched for generations to come. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We do welcome you guys back. If this is your first time watching, leave us a like and subscribe. Follow us. We're currently on TikTok. We have 2 of them going. We have Comics Unchained. You can follow us on there. We're on Twitter as well under Comics Unchained as well. Of course, if you guys leave us a message, let us know how we do. I will try to respond to them as fast as I can. Granted, my day job. So next week we do plan on bringing back what we're going to be doing in the future is talking about books coming off the shelves, talking about comic books, what's worth your money, what's not. Chris will be sitting in with me as I currently have a stack of comics yay big that I still have to go through. I'm only reading a few.
I read. I have way too many that I read.
I know. I'm only reading a few things right now, so I will be I'll be making the quips.
So we hope you guys join us for that, and hopefully we plan on maybe getting you guys into a series you're not reading, or saving you some money on something maybe you shouldn't be reading. So with that being said, I'm your host Sergio. That's Chris from over at the Kaiju Kingdom. He'll be joining me. And as always, guys, keep on reading.